welcome back to part 2 of our magazine review of the very last edition, or print edition, of Fast Car Magazine, issue 438. And we're going to pick up where we left off at this advert for Wolf Race Wheels. Currently been in business from 1971 to 2021. That's 50 years of Wolf Race Wheels. And we're now moving on to our next feature car, which is a Honda Acti. Now, if you follow Fresh and Minty on Instagram, then you'll probably be aware of this little Honda that he owns. He also has a Citroen C4 Cactus, which is in minty green. So let's have a wee look at the Acti. I'm loving these wheels already on the Acti, which are image billet 19 split rims, and they needed custom fabrication to fit the Acti. Moving across. So we've got a hatch in the rear bed, which reveals the fire-breathing 545cc engine beneath it. And there's the interior. Sort of 1970s, 1980s style brown interior, which nowadays is very quite tasteful. He's got a two-tone wooden gear knob, probably from a Porsche Carrera GT. The standard Japanese heater controls there. Moving over, moving up. Flocked dash as well. I just love the little bed in the back. It kind of reminds me of Foxanne from Hupnut. Just a sort of the bit on the back, the silver panel on the back. His own wee model in there. Moving up to have a look at the features it's got. So as we said, it's a 545cc and it's only a 2-cylinder engine as well. Now if you thought 3 cylinders was fun, 2 cylinders even better, I think. It's got a standard manual gearbox. I don't know if that's a 4 or a 5 speed. It's on Rayvern hydraulics suspension with 7-inch drop. Raised front suspension turrets and custom 4-link rear setup. Standard brakes all round. It's got 3x5x13 front wheels and 5.5 by 13-inch rear wheels. Image billet 3-piece split rims. 13-inch Hankook tyres on the front and 13-inch Yokohama A539s on the rear. So basically filled in like the wiper jet holes, washer filler, hole, badge holes and aerial holes have all been filled and smoothed. It's got a Bedford Rascal front bumper, door mirror mounts, holes filled and smoothed, front arches cut and tubbed, custom fabricated lower side panels, custom fabricated rear panel. The rear tailgate's been widened by 4 inches. Fuel tank's been located under the bed of the truck. Oil filler's been relocated under the bed as well. It's got 3-inch chrome peep mirrors, 7-inch LED front headlights, stealth LED taillights, and a Williams canopy. It's got a flocked dashboard, a Strally dished steering wheel, chrome rear view mirror, beige vinyl seat covers, beige vinyl door cards, brown seat belts, a wooden gear knob, wooden handbrake handle, and a shag pile carpet and roof lining. Moving on, we have an advert for Auto Finesse detailing products. And moving on to Hype Beast. This is a radical Mark II Golf. That is absolutely amazing and bonkers at the same time. Let's have a closer look. So it's got a 2 litre VR6 and 2.8 litre VR6. Lives in the rear of a wild machine. And instead of the engine being in the front, it's now got an air ride tank and compressor. Quite possibly the car's coolest angle, in our opinion. Most definitely, that's something else. And the passengers get treated to an earful of induction noise. I mean, just look at that. So you've got your air ride controller. Here is the interior there. Moving over, we've got some really funky seats. I don't think it'd be very comfortable on a long journey, but apparently that's what happens if you roll a Terminator over. And just to be keeping in with the VAG ethos, we'll just keep the standard Volkswagen Golf C steering wheel. So let's have a look at the tech spec on this Golf. As we said, it's a 2 litre VR6 from a Mark III Golf, a custom induction kit and centre exit exhaust. It's the standard 5-speed Mark III VR6 gearbox. It's got an airlift 3P system, bespoke chassis to accommodate rear-mounted engine and rear-wheel drive conversion. It's got a complete Mark III Golf VR6 subframe. It's got front and rear Mark III Golf VR6 disc brakes. Wheels are 7x17 rotiform 3-piece forged LHR-F wheels at the front and 19-inch rotiform 3-piece forged LHR wheels on the rear. It's got a full Casa designed bespoke body kit, Aero by Prior Design. It's got a rear screen delete and rear mounted window louver. It acts as a functional cooling for rear mounted engines. It's been resprayed in BMW M4 Grey. It's got a custom roll cage, and we also mentioned it had the original Golf C steering wheel and Kirkay racing seats, which were the metal flattened Terminator seats. So moving on, we have Breathe and Stop. Tarox brakes. A well-known name in the brake industry. Moving on to our next feature car, My Fair Lady, or a Nissan 350Z. I do like a Z car, I like my 350Zs and 370s, but I do prefer the 350 over the 370. But I also like some of the older Datsun stuff as well. So let's have a wee look at this car. Let's check out the sticker on this. I effing hate arch gap. And the caption is, "We think the sticker says it all." So moving down, we have some Bride Vertex seats, and they're proper JDM items. I love the sort of style on this 370. It's quite mean looking. And it just sits so perfectly. Braking's taken care of by Acti brake system. Yeah, moving down. The steering wheel there. The wee gear lever there. And the owner's actually got an advert for hardrace.co.uk. There's the air ride in the back. And there is the rear of the car now. Just look how low that is. That's just something unreal. So tech spec. So engine wise on this 370Z we have the 3.7 6-cylinder V6 and with an HKS drop-in replacement panel filter, HKS super sound master exhaust system and a short tail rear section by Infinity Exhausts. It's a stage 1 competition clutch and pressure plate, a Torquin lightweight flywheel, Torquin heavy duty CSC viscous LSD. Suspension wise, it's BC Racing BR series coilovers. It's got stance parts, air cups, T-demand 40mm short knuckles, hard race front upper control arms, GK Tech angle kit, hard race rear camber arms, silver project rear toe arms. Brakes, as we said, it was Acti braking system with four piston calipers front and 2 piston calipers on the rear. Wheel wise, it's 19-inch Oz Super Lagaras with satin silver faces. On the rear, nope, there's nothing else on the rear. Exterior wise, it's got a Mark II Nismo front and rear bumper, 326 power Manrique wing. It's got a Inspired Race Developments universal front splitter and side skirt extensions, chopped up to suit the shape of the bumper and length of the skirts. The headlights of this car have been split and internals have been painted satin black. And as we mentioned, it's got Bride Vertex Funky Queen Zeta free seats, Momatech steering wheel and an ISR gear knob. And over to the other page we have the BC Racing suspension systems with this 370Z advertising BC Racing. On to the next page we have an advert for Bilstein suspension. And moving over we have a poster of that Mark II Golf we've seen earlier. If we turn the magazine up the other way, we also see the BMW E36 we looked at earlier on. So if you're a BMW fan, how about this portrait style poster for your wall? And on the other side of that is the other side of the Mark II Golf we featured earlier on. Moving on, we have an advert for Touch Up Paint Factory, Scotland's leading aftermarket exhaust manufacturer, Pipe Dynamics. So if you know where Pipe Dynamics is, I'm sure they're based up in Fife. So we've got Sealy storage and workstations. So if you look for tool chest for your garage or your shed, and maybe this is quite a handy wee website to look at. Sealy.co.uk. Also on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram and Pinterest. And this is going to be our final feature car of part 2. It is a Seat Leon. A Seat Leon is basically a Volkswagen Golf in its DNA. But Seats very much have their own identity and character. So Seat is like the sporty division. Your Skoda would be your budget brand, Volkswagen would be your premium brand, and Audi would be like your luxury brand. So This is Benny's Cupra 280, so let's have a wee look at it. So it's running on some Oz Racing wheels. There's the famous Cupra seats. Now I wouldn't like to be messing if this car came up behind you with the big massive vent in the bonnet and the Cupra badge on the front. So let's have a closer look at this car in detail. So this car has been lowered. It's got some fancy Oz, as we said, Oz Racing rims, and just the slightest styling touches have changed the look of this car dramatically. And there's the air intake system. It's a TCR touring car bonnet vent, which basically helps keep the engine temperatures in check. Moving over, we have the engine in the car, producing a 362 brake horsepower at 359 pounds-feet of torque. So what is Cupra, if you don't know what Cupra is? So Cupra was formerly known as Seat Sport, Seat's in-house motorsport and performance division, and was founded in 1985. And Cupra was basically the trim level of the sporty models of the Seat range. Nowadays, Cupra has its own division. It's basically split off as a separate entity of Seat. So you'll have models like the Cupra Formentor and Ateca, and the Cupra Leon. Differences are that they don't wear Seat badges at all. So there you go. If you didn't know much about Cupra, there is just a little bit of information for you. Coming in, we've got the standard Seat Leon interior, and let's have a little look at the tech spec. So it's a 2-litre TF TSI with a ram air turbo elbow, forged turbo muffler delete, custom 3-inch catback by Pipe Dynamics. It's a stage 1 map by MRC Scotland. Transmission is the factory DSG gearbox and Haldex type LSD. The gearbox has been mapped by MRC Scotland, and it's got a Powerflex dogbone mount. It's been lowered 35mm on H&R springs. It's got a front strut brace and Bath Motorsports K-brace. Brakes are standard all round. Wheels and tyres are 8x5 by 19-inch Oz Racing Formula HLT wheels on Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tyres. It's got a custom bonnet with TCR Leon touring car vent, air design splitter, Seat aerodynamic side skirts, Riga rear diffuser, Leapwork spoiler, limo tints, rear wiper delete, new Cupra X logo badges front and rear. Interior is OEM Cupra, custom dead pedal and passenger footwell light. And moving over to the advert, car is sponsored by orange.co.uk, who are mini performance parts, mini tuning and mini styling products for mini enthusiasts. And we're now introducing the Leap spoiler lip for a Seat Leon Cupra. You can follow them on Facebook, on Instagram and Twitter. So I'd just like to thank you for watching part 2 of this video. Part 3 will be following, where we continue our look at the very last print edition of Fast Car magazine. So for now, farewell, and I'll catch you soon.